Sparta. Known for its military strength, Sparta was built entirely around war. From birth, children were inspected for strength, and those considered too weak would be abandoned. Boys who survived were taken from their families at a young age and forced into a brutal training system where pain, hunger, and discipline were part of everyday life. Even stealing was encouraged, but only if you didn't get caught. If you did, the punishment was severe. In Sparta, survival meant becoming strong, or not surviving at all. The Aztec Empire. The Aztecs built a powerful and advanced civilization, but their belief system included the idea that gods required human blood to keep the world going, and also the use of human sacrifice as a nourishment of the sun. Large public rituals involved sacrificing people, often prisoners of war. For those living in this society, these events were part of life, a constant reminder of how fragile existence could be. The Qin dynasty, a civilization known for unifying China, but also for its extreme laws. Under Emperor Qin Shi Huang, strict rules controlled every aspect of life. Even small crimes could lead to harsh punishments like forced labor. Massive projects, including early versions of the Great Wall, were built by workers under intense conditions. Life here required total obedience, and any mistake could come with serious consequences. Due to harsh rule, heavy taxation and forced labor led to revolts soon after Qin Shi Huang's death. The dynasty collapsed in 206 BC, giving rise to the Han dynasty. The Mongols. The Mongol Empire was one of the largest empires in history. Founded by the great Genghis Khan in 1206, it became the largest contiguous land empire in history, spanning from East Asia to Eastern Europe. Its expansion was fast and often violent. Cities that resisted Mongol rule sometimes faced destruction, and life during their rise could be unpredictable and dangerous. While the empire later improved trade and connections between regions, its early years were marked by fear and survival. It is estimated that over 40 million people died, that is around 10% of the world's population at that time, under the regime of Genghis Khan, which showed the level of brutality during his era. Medieval Europe. Medieval Europe was a historic period spanning from the 5th century to the late 15th century, marking it the time between the fall of the Western Roman Empire and the dawn of the Renaissance. This period, however, was extremely harsh for the average person. Disease was everywhere, hygiene was poor, and medical knowledge was limited. Events like the Black Death and the 100 Years' War wiped out millions, and most people lived in poverty. Life expectancy was low, roughly around 30 to 35 years, and even minor illnesses like flu and diarrhea could become deadly. Survival often depended on luck as much as anything else. Ancient Egypt. While it's famous for pyramids and pharaohs, life for ordinary people was far from glamorous. Many worked long hours in agriculture or construction under intense heat, with average temperatures ranging between 30 to 40 degrees Celsius or 86 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Laborers who built monuments often faced tough conditions during the construction of the pyramids. Society was strictly structured. The pharaohs at the top, followed by viziers and high-rankings officials, scribes, artisans, and skilled workers, peasant farmers and laborers, and the bottom of the chains was the slaves and servants. Your place in life was largely determined at birth, and moving up was extremely difficult. The Roman Empire. In the Roman Empire, life depended heavily on your status. While elites lived in luxury, many others faced a much harsher reality. Just like in ancient Egypt, slavery was widespread, and enslaved people had little to no rights. Even free citizens could struggle with poverty, and entertainment like gladiator fights often involved violence and death. It was a civilization of greatness, but also deep inequality. Kinda reminds me of today's society with the exception of the gladiator fights. The Vikings, often remembered as fierce warriors, the Vikings lived in a world shaped by survival and conflict. Raids and battles were common, with thousands often dying in battle, considering it as an honorary death. Also, life in their environment could be physically demanding. Harsh weather, limited resources, and constant threats from other states made everyday life challenging, even outside of warfare. The Inca Empire. The Inca Empire is another fascinating example. Emerging from the highlands near Cusco, the Incas consolidated power under the ruler, Pachacuti, who transformed a small kingdom into an expansive empire. While highly organized, the empire required citizens to contribute labor to state projects such as Machu Picchu through a system known as Mita. This meant people were regularly required to work on construction, farming, or military efforts. Life was structured and controlled, and personal freedom was limited in many ways. The Assyrian Empire. The Assyrian Empire, known for its military power and strict rule. The Assyrians built a strong and organized empire, but they were also known for their harsh treatment of enemies and strict control over their territories. Assyrian kings, such as Ashurnasirpal II, used extreme violence as a tool to intimidate opponents into submission, avoiding long, costly sieges. Recorded practices included flaying people alive, impalement, public torture, and stacking severed heads. Life under such a system could be intense, especially during times of conflict or expansion. Thanks for watching.